Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. My name is Kyle. In this video, I'm running it back with another Green Bay Packers mock draft. I just recorded one. I'll probably put a link to it or something in this video down below. But I wanted to just do a second opinion, and I want to use a different mock draft website. We're going to be using the Draft Network today. So let me hop into a screen share here. If you guys are new to the Fantasy Fellowship, you should definitely subscribe. We cover mostly fantasy basketball, fantasy football content here, but I'm a big Green Bay Packer fan, and if you have any requests and you want me to do the Chiefs or you want me to do your team, let me know, and I can do a full round mock draft, and we'll see how it goes. And again, this is just for fun. I know the majority of fantasy players, so quarterbacks, receivers, running backs, and tight ends. I'm pretty good with knowing who's coming into the draft, but as far as defense and some of the other positions, I'm not too into everything here, but I do have a good base of knowledge. So let's just have fun with this. And again, if you want to check out that other Packers mock draft, I ended up with 2 receivers in the first and a couple defensive players later on. So let's I just want to show you guys what I'm going to be looking at in this draft. We're good at running back, Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. Maybe we get one late in the draft if he falls. That's great. But of course, wide receiver, Allen Lazard, Randall Cobb, and Amari Rodgers are the top receivers for the Green Bay Packers. Not great. So we're going to be looking there for sure. Robert Tonyan, Josiah DeGuara are going to hold the fort down. Still not sure what's up with Mercedes Lewis, but we could add potentially a tight end number 3. And then offensive line. I like our line. Bakhtiari, Jenkins, Myers, Royce Newman, and Josh Neiman are going to hold it down. But we do need some backup depth here. So I could see some nice, maybe a day 2 pick here and a couple day 3 guys for the offensive line. And then what do we need with defense? I think our secondary is fantastic. Stokes, Amos, Savage, Alexander, Razul Douglas. That's a really good 5. After that, I don't have any answers for you. Kevin King's probably signing elsewhere. I don't know if he's signed yet. And again, as I record this, it is March 25th. Our linebackers, Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith rushing the edge. Losing Zadarius Smith, you're going to want to get another pass rusher there. And then Devondre Campbell, Chris Barnes holding the middle down, but we do need some backup depth here. And then defensive line, Lowry, Clark, and Jaron Reed, who we signed in free agency. I like that group, but we just need some depth. So I'm thinking defensive line. Basically, there's no problem with drafting any defensive player for the bench. And then we'll look around at wide receiver and some offensive line. So let's get into it. This is going to be a lot of fun. And again, I'm using the draftnetwork.com. Use the link in the description below. I'm going to go ahead here and let's, and I think I was running some mocks earlier today. I think I like this site better than PFF. So let's go ahead here. I'm going to use their predictive big board. I'm going to do 7 rounds and let's just leave it at normal speed here. And I'm going to leave it set as manual. The draft simulator will run until it's your turn. On your turn, you'll be able to select a player to draft. So let's go ahead and hit it and let's just have fun. Evan Neal, first pick. Aiden Hutchinson. Kyle Hamilton's been getting a ton of buzz. Supposedly, he's the number 1 ranked player in this draft. Doubt the Jaguars take him at number 1. So we're moving along here. We did see Jameson Williams, first wide receiver off the board here to Atlanta. Garrett Wilson, wide receiver number 2, here to Philadelphia. And we're on the board here. We got some good receivers here. Drake London. So again, in my first Packers mock, I ended up with Treylon Burks at pick number 22. But I think if this is the case, the Packers are definitely looking into Drake London. If you don't know who Drake London is, we're talking 6'4", 220 pounds. Kind of like a body of Mike Evans, but he can play kind of like a Michael Pittman. So he can do some slot things. He's a really fun player here. I'm looking for some comparisons here. I don't see anything, but he's by far one of my favorite receivers here. I think if you're looking for a big receiver, you want London. If you want more of the butter knife, you're looking at Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave. So Olave is on the list. So is Jahan Dotson. There's Chris Olave, Treylon Burks. So like, man, if the Packers are up at 22 and London, Dotson, Olave, Burks are still on the board, I'm feeling fantastic. So I'm going to run Drake London in. I think if they wanted to go interior offensive linemen, Zion Johnson, Tyler Linderbaum, and Kenyon Green are interesting here. All these guys can play guard. It's a very interesting option. But I think, again, with Devontae Adams leaving, and again, the Packers pick number 28 next, and we got 2 second-round picks. So I'm going to run Drake London in. If you guys don't know Drake London, definitely watch some of his stuff on YouTube. He's a fantastic player, really, really fun guy to watch who could step right in and lead our team in reception. So after London, We did miss out on Chris Olave and Jahan Dotson, so that's going to leave us with the next best receiver, Treylon Burks. If we want Burks, we can do it. Again, we just drafted Drake London, so I don't know if that makes the most sense right now. And again, I just did a mock with back-to-back receivers, so I might change it up a little bit in this one. Looking at this interior offensive line, and yeah, like we're getting Jenkins back. We're gonna get, of course, Josh Myers, Bakhtiari. All these guys are gonna be back here, but we really don't have any depth. And I like Royce Newman. I think he can be a player here for a while. Only 24 years old, a former fourth-round pick. His contract probably going to be. I guess he's going to be a second-year player here, as he was a pick last year. So really good pick last year, and then Josh Neiman here going to be competing for a left tackle spot. So maybe, and again, Neiman filled in really, really nice last year. Only 26 years old. He's got some run in here. So as far as starting offensive line, I think the Packers are probably walking in really set with this. But again, it's if they want the backup here. So Runyon, probably the next best man here. So I see the need for offensive line here. I'm looking at Linderbaum. I'm looking at Kenyon Green. Maybe Daxton Hill, a safety. There's some really good safeties here at the top of the board. Interior defensive lineman, though. Perion Winfrey, interesting cat. And again, I just think losing Zadarius Smith, edge rusher David Ojabu, who of course hurt himself in the his pro day I think it was last week, falling into the second round. I think the Packers have to look at him, but we've kind of spent some bad picks. Jordan Love cough, wasting a potential first rounder there. I don't know if I'm going to do it on David Ojabu, but there's some room here to wait for an edge rusher. So I think it's receiver, guys. I think it's Treylon Burks. If it's Olave that falls, that's fantastic. But with this draft, I think I'm going to Drake London, Treylon Burks, and Alan Lazard as the main three receivers, and you're going to sprinkle in Randall Cobb and Amari Rodgers. I think that can work. I mean, again, they're both bigger guys, but Burks and London do different things. So my heart really wants to take Treylon Burks here. Again, I can see the interior offensive lineman, but I'm gonna go ahead and take Treylon Burks. Packers get 2 first-round receivers, 2 really big wide receivers as well. And so we're moving here. No other receivers off the board quite yet. I'm waiting to see. Sky Moore is probably the next best receiver off the board, and I think we're good at receiver here. We might grab one late. I do really, really like David Bell out of Purdue. So if, say, I wanted to scratch out pick number 28 and put an offensive lineman or defensive lineman, I totally could do that. And that's very well what the Packers might do, but I think we're up to pick here. And there's some defensive linemen that I like. Tyler Smith here out of Tulsa, this offensive line. DeMarvin Leal out of Texas A&M. Don't really know too much about him. Former 5-star prospect here. So I think defensive line could be a really good option here. They have him listed as a second-round value. And again, the Packers' depth at defensive line, TJ Slayton's fine, but after Lowry and Jared Reed, they really don't have much. So I think we'll probably go with the interior defensive lineman. Let's lock in DeMarvin Leal out of Texas A&M. And we're going to be up to pick again here. So again, I really like David Bell out of Purdue. I think if we wanted to just take one receiver in the first, I would hope for David Bell in the second round. So I just want to shout that out. We could do him. Breece Hall should be gone by now. He's going to be an early second-round pick. Tyler Smith, though, interior offensive line falling. Sean Ryan out of UCLA. Jamare Sawyer out of Georgia here. So it's looking like the interior offensive line is looking to be the best at the moment right now. I do like edge here. But we can maybe wait on that. I think the Packers, let's just sign them up for a backup offensive lineman. I'm just going to take the top guy off the board, Tyler Smith. So far, 2 receivers, two linemen, 1 defensive, 1 offensive. So we're building the trenches continued here. And now we can kind of have some fun getting some of those more fun, sexy defensive picks. Maybe looking at a tight end. I feel like we're doing pretty good here. Here's my pick so far. Again, Drake London, Treylon Burks, first 2 receivers. Again, even if I just take one of those guys, I really want David Bell in the second round. And we're almost up to pick here, pick number 92. And as we look here, Carson Strong should not be on the board still. He should be long gone by now. But here's how the board fell. We got some linebackers here. Channing Tindall out of Georgia, Troy Anderson out of Montana State. I'm probably going to grab one of these linebackers, but I'm just kind of looking around. Tight ends are sticking out here. There's a lot of linebackers sticking out. I'm starting to see some cornerbacks stick out. So we're gonna have to wait till the 4th round to make our next pick, but we're gonna go ahead and grab the linebacker out of Georgia, who could potentially be a backup for us, and see what happens there. I still really do want an edge rusher, so that might be where we're looking at next. I think edge rusher and maybe some more offensive lineman depth might be a really good move here. But I'm looking around, a lot of running backs still on the board, and again, as we've officially ended round 3, we're moving into round 4. This is the day 3 on Saturday draft. Let's keep it moving though. Almost up to pick. There's a tight end on the board here I really like in the 4th round. He's out of Virginia. His name is Jelani Woods. Don't know if he's going to make it to us, but he's there. He's 6'7" and like 265 pounds. So if we wanted to have a fun pick, we could totally take Jelani Woods here out of Virginia. Again, 6'7", 260 pounds. Doesn't really have a lot of hype in the draft here, but he's a really fun guy. Again, we only really have 2 tight ends that are going to be around for the future here. So he could be a future tight end for Aaron Rodgers. Otherwise, this D'Angelo Malone here, edge. We should probably have taken an edge by now, so I think that's going to be a priority for me in this draft. So I'll go ahead and lock in an edge, D'Angelo Malone, Western Kentucky. And if you're watching this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you're new. I really don't care if I'm correct or right with these picks. I'm more so caring about the position of need. I want to make sure I'm hitting the players that the Packers are going to be looking at so I can be a little bit more well-informed. So I'm hoping that I help you guys and throw some more names out for you to look at. One of our main needs is still offensive tackle here. I think at this point of the draft, it doesn't look like this is a really strong, group. There is a cornerback here, Jalen Watson from Washington State, that could compete with us. 6'3". Packers usually really like to draft a tall corner. Pro comparison is Trey Flowers, which is a good spot here this deep. And we do have a pick not until pick 171. So we're picking 140 right now. We're going to have to wait a full round. So maybe you see the Packers reach a little bit here. There's some corners. There's some more interior defensive linemen. That could be fun. John Ridgeway here, 6'5", 327, 3-4 tech here. I kind of like what we got going on. Maybe we look to our defensive lineman again. Otherwise, like, I really don't see too much here. Hassan Haskins from Michigan could be a banger, kind of a A.J. Dillon backup here. But let's go ahead and just lock in another big SEC defensive alignment here, interior defensive lineman. So far we have 2 interior defensive linemen to kind of bolster that defensive line. We have a linebacker from Georgia here, Channing Tindall. We have an interior offensive lineman here from Tulsa, and probably looking for a tackle or something next. I wish I could see positions here. OT. Kind of in our wheelhouse here. We're looking at some guys in the back end here out of TCU, Florida, Illinois, Michigan. Packers really do a good job drafting offensive linemen on the 3rd day of the draft. Let me go ahead back to filter to all. I believe we have 2 more picks left. I can't remember how many. I wish you would tell me how many more picks I have here. We're in the 5th round though, so I'm assuming we have at least 3 more. Another interior offensive lineman from Nebraska. Let's go ahead and lock him in. So far we have 2 offensive linemen, 2 defensive linemen, an edge, a linebacker, and 2 wide receivers. So I think I'm trying to hit as many positions of need as I can. And it looks like our next few picks, I actually want to look, I just want to click here. This is the Tankathon website. Looks like we have a 7th round pick from Chicago. And we have 3 7th round picks coming up here. So this is where we're going to kind of just do some rapid fire, just grab some positions for the camp, training camp bodies, if you will. The 6th round is kind of going far. So the Packers do have 2 firsts, 2 seconds, a 3rd, 2 fourths, a 5th, and 3 7th round picks. Here's some mock draft, names we're looking at here. I guess that Tyler Smith guy from Tulsa. Where did I get him? I got him at pick number 59. So that technically is a pretty good deal here. No offensive tackles in this draft, but again, I think the Packers, they really like, of course, Bakhtiari. They like Jenkins, who they can just slide out there. And they have Neiman, who really held the fort down last year. So I feel good about that. Maybe we bring in a guy here to compete again. We have 3 picks. Running backs available. Michael Woods from Oklahoma could be kind of fun. I wonder if he could do some special teams work for us. Charleston Rambo from Miami. So there's some fun receivers out here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and lock in this Michigan offensive tackle here. I'll do some more research on tackles here, but I think it's probably smart that the Packers draft offensive tackle here to compete at training camp. And then basically, maybe I'll throw a cornerback in there. Maybe we throw, I don't know, maybe another wide receiver. I really like Michael Woods. I'm surprised he's still out there. I could potentially take a running back as well. Let me go ahead and look at the running backs available. Devontae Price, Florida International, should be drafted here. I like Keontae Ingram's speed as well. Maybe we do that. Let's have some fun with this pick because we know we have one more. So I'll bring in Devontae Price. Let's see if he can make the roster, compete with Kylan Hill. And as our last pick, maybe we'll just take a peek at the cornerback position. Not sure anyone sticks out. I guess our draft is over, so my bad. Here's all of our picks again to wrap it up. At number 22, we go with wide receiver Drake London. Number 28, we go Treylon Burks. We get DeMarvin Leal out of Texas A&M. Tyler Smith, offensive lineman out of Tulsa. Channing Tindall out of Georgia, linebacker here at 92. I really like this group. So you're telling me in the top 100, we get 5 picks. We end up with 2 receivers, a defensive lineman, an offensive lineman, and a linebacker. That seems to make sense to me. You could maybe swap in an edge rusher for that linebacker instead, who I get here at 132, D'Angelo Malone. John Ridgway, defensive lineman. Cam Jurgens, offensive lineman from Nebraska. Offensive tackle, Andrew Stuber. And then we end our draft with Devontae Price. So a lot of fun. Again, if you guys like the video, please don't be shy. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you are new. Check out the Draft Network, link in the description below. And again, thank you guys so much for your time. Check out the other video. We'll see you guys in future videos. Peace.